Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. I need to just adjust this so I can check my clock and keep us on track when we're otherwise turned within. Thank you for being here today for our meditation time together. I always look forward to this time with you. So last week we focused on love, with it being Valentine's week and all, and focusing on that. Love within and generating love using a figure that we love, whether it is a scene of ocean just rolling in and out, bringing peace, being able to relax and enjoy and not think about anything, or a spiritual figure that elicits love and devotion from our hearts, a pet that we feel what that's like when we give love to that family member, that furry family member, or another person, or thinking of a time when we have felt love and what that's like. But mainly we were focusing on generating love from us to something, because often we don't allow ourselves to be loved by somebody. We may feel good when somebody tells us that, but that might last, 5 or 10 minutes before we need another fix of being told that we're loved. That's just kind of human nature, and how we've picked up a lot of false beliefs about ourselves, a lot of shame and so forth. So sometimes feeling love, meditating on, oh, let's feel love. We don't always, it's not as easy, but when we know how to love, we know what it feels like when we love something, and if you don't, you're probably not watching this video. If you don't know what that feels like, you wouldn't be interested in sitting down to meditate. But um, at the end of our meditation time last night, I could feel each of you, so clearly. It was really a fascinating experience, actually, and so I thought, wow, that was very powerful. Hopefully, it was for you too, and you felt that energy of love for the rest of your day, and hopefully tapped into it many times during the week. One thing that has been up a lot lately is, in conversations that I've been involved with, is, kind of what's happening in the world, and, just kind of everything seeming to be going to, pardon me, but hell in a handbasket, to use an old phrase sometimes. And, you know, I have over the years had to work really hard within myself to stay out of my fears, and I'm going to say stay out of my opinions too. It doesn't mean that I don't think things about things. It doesn't mean I don't have opinions about them, but I've had to and still have to many times work very hard to keep myself out of the investing my identity in my opinion. And what I mean by that is, our opinions come from our experience, our intelligence. It comes from our emotions more than anything. And then we back up with those emotions with our thinking, and our emotions are based on our experiences also. So our opinions about things, our perspectives on things, only have the value that we give them. And I want to be very careful, because I know it can seem like, well, if I don't have an opinion, nothing's going to happen. And certainly, if and when we feel moved to act on our perspectives, we should do that. Um, but as a therapist and counselor, what is my job when I'm talking with somebody is to help them maintain their emotional regulation. And in order to do that, I have to do that for myself, right? I can't do that for anybody else if I'm not doing that for myself. And sometimes when our opinions get so heated and activated, it really throws off our regulatory system, our nervous system, it throws us out of our Zen zone on the inside, because then we become really attached to separation. We could become really attached to, this is my opinion and there are other opinions out there, which there are infinite number of other opinions out there on any given topic. That just is, that's just part of our human world. We have different experiences and therefore different opinions and conclusions we've come to about something. And I really want to bring in something that my spiritual teacher, Jane Hart, Center for Enlightenment, you hear about her a lot, what she has shared over and over again, which is, we are never going to find peace until we learn how to work together. And what does that look like in the world? I have no idea, but all we can do is manage what it looks like inside of us. So, what does that do? What does that mean for our opinions? Do we just throw them aside and not have a thought or not have a perspective on something? No, we can have a perspective on something, but emotional force doesn't help. It doesn't help anything. So, I guess the way that I advise myself and others is that to hold my opinion loosely. I can hold an opinion out here. I can hold a perspective out here, and also have the understanding and the, I don't know, humility, I guess. I don't know, want to stand in front of you and say that I'm all that humble, because that's not that's not the thing either. But there is a humility to holding our opinion lightly and being able to say, I have no idea how this needs to work out. All I know is that I have to be coming from my best self, from my highest self, from my most emotionally regulated self, in order to make space in the world for other people's hurt and pain and fear and all of that. I've got plenty of my own to tell somebody else theirs is wrong. I've got plenty of my own to take care of first before I can make somebody else wrong for theirs. Do I believe that our world and each individual, we are all evolving towards more compassion and humanity? Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. What is that supposed to look like? I have no idea. I'll share one more thought about this that I'm really not informed enough to share, but I'm going to share it anyway. I have a little bit of, when I say little, I mean very little knowledge of Hinduism, and if you haven't noticed already, my spiritual perspective tends to lean Eastern versus Western, even though there's a good combination in there. But one of the things I know, one of the few things I know about Hindu scriptures is that there is Hindu writings, there's a delineation of human evolution by periods of time called yugas, Y-U-G-A. And we are finishing the Kali Yuga and entering into some other one, which I don't know, and I didn't bother looking up before our time today. But it's the Kali Yuga is the time period of kind of turmoil in these writing predictions and teachings. And I certainly can see that in our world, that everything needs to be churned up, turned upside down. All the negativity has to be squeezed out and into the open and see it. How many times, I will speak for myself. many times I have seen something come up in the world, near or far, and go, I had no idea people had that much disdain for other people. Like I had no idea, where did that come from? And it's just fits into that whole idea of like all this has to be squeezed out like infection in order to, it doesn't matter what side, right? It all has to be squeezed out, and the arrogance and the fear and the hatred and the justification of separating ourselves from our one humanity in order to go into that next yuga, whatever the heck it's called, that is about illumination and enlightenment and human decency and love and spiritual growth at a wider scale. When is that going to happen and how is it going to show up? I don't know. But the only way we have any kind of input in that significantly is what's happening on the inside of us and what are we holding. We felt palpably, hopefully you did too. I know I felt palpably last week that energy of love, and fear has an energy, hate has an energy. So when that is going on inside of us, arrogance has an energy. If that's going on inside of us, that's felt in the world also. And it's adding to that turmoil that's happening. So our job is to not be in denial about what's happening, not to not have perspectives on what's happening, but to understand that the impact we have is because we are generating whatever it is we're generating on the inside. And that is impacting the people in our world, which who have people in their world, who have people in their world. And so whatever we're generating has a ripple effect. So we want to hold those opinions and perspectives loosely and make sure we're coming from that place of hope for the smoothest possible transition into that next cycle of humanity and human evolution and growth, where there is peace inside and out and goodwill toward all. And holding that hope, hope has an energy of it in and of itself too. So holding that hope does a lot more for our world than holding an opinion or perspective that we feel justified and is superior to somebody else's. And maybe your opinion is on the side of that compassion and evolution and world peace and all of that, and that's great. And holding that with a sense of hope and humility. And I don't know how this is going to happen, but there's a song in the church denomination I grew up in called Unity that we would sing at the end of every service, and it's still being sung. It's called Let There, some of the words are, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And we are truly doing that as we are working on our emotional regulation within ourselves, staying in our Zen zone as much as possible, doing our forgiveness work, letting go of emotions that bring us down, not just denying them, but to working on them to release them. Why am I feeling this? Okay, help me let this go. My opinion or my perspective might not be different, but the energy with which I'm holding it is. And that is generating something totally different in our individual world and surrounding, as well as it ripples out to our entire world. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say about today, because it's just been up in so many different conversations I've had this week. So anyway, back to our meditation time. I know I took a little bit more time talking, and so we will have some time to meditate now, and I invite you to Just going to let go of our opinions and perspectives on the world and what's happening, and touching in with the part of us that believes that there's a greater force in charge. Even if that means just believing in the hearts of the most evolved human beings on our planet and knowing that that consciousness is increasing and carrying us forward. I certainly resonate with the idea of a greater power than human beings. But whatever it takes to tap into that hope, that ability to relax in the higher perspective, the higher, I don't even want to call it an opinion, but the higher perspective of the greater plan is working out, that all of humanity is moving forward. Let your attention be on your breath to help further relax your body. Relax the mind. And perhaps you can touch in with what hope feels like in your heart. Not anxious hope, peaceful, confident, knowing hope that this is the plan for humanity to move into peace and to resolve all of this conflict and fear. Sometimes we have to move our perspective way back, stepping way back, to see that this is all going to work out as it always has through the history of this world. We thought we were done. We thought we were moving into a place of a time of peace and love for everyone and compassion and equality and so forth. But this healing wasn't done. We just hold the space of hope, peaceful, knowing hope. And stepping way back even farther and holding this planet in our arms. Feeling that hope move into love, 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 like a parent for a child. That parent knows that the child will learn everything it needs to, and maybe it's having a temper tantrum right now, but it will learn how to manage its emotions and be more mature. We can know that for our humanity that we hold in our arms right now, that we are part of. And even as a parent, and we're holding that child who's having a temper tantrum, we're also at the same time often reflecting, well, what do I need to do? How can I be better? How can I manage my emotions better so that I can help my child better? And that likewise is our responsibility every day. How can we be the most loving, mature, kind, helpful, generous person we can be, since that's what we expect of others? And if you so choose right now to make that commitment to yourself for today, for this week, to make sure we are the love that we expect, that we are the peace that we expect, that we are the compassion and the maturity that we expect from our brothers and sisters and others of humanity. That is our most beautiful work for today, for this week, for always. So we take that planet that we're holding in our arms and just hold it closely, bring it into our hearts. Oneness and one purpose, peace and love and goodwill towards all. And if you can continue with your meditation time today, I invite you to do that. You need to go about your day, take a deep breath, feel your feet on the floor, your bottom in your chair, and thank you for listening to my perspective today and sharing this time with me. Have a wonderful, peaceful week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.